And here we go. Welcome to episode 26 of the Huddle, our first of the new year, and coming to you from our studios here at Princess Auto Stadium. Usually we are live, but because of the blizzard, we don't have we have spotty internet in the building here today, so we're recording the show, and it'll appear later on our YouTube page, and we'll be sure to blast it out on our social media channels too. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell. I'm your host, Ed Tait of BlueBombers.com. We're very pleased to be joined this week by the newest member of the Blue Bombers, Dillon Mitchell, a receiver who put up huge numbers last year for the Edmonton Elks. Thanks, Dillon. Appreciate you joining us.
Of course. I'm glad to be here.
Right on. Listen, you picked a good time to come to Winnipeg, right? We're in a blizzard. We're all talking about weather warnings. Welcome to Winnipeg.
Thank you.
What we normally do here is we open with the Coors Light Chill Chat, which is a chance for fans to get to know Dillon a little bit more. I know we will still try to take questions later, even though this isn't live. So I appreciate you guys for hanging with us through the internet challenges we have here today. So again, the Coors Light Chill Chat is brought to you by the official beer of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Coors Light.
There's regular cold, and then there's the mountains are blue cold. Mountain cold refreshment. Coors Light, the chill choice.
Dillon, so we always open up with food questions because for whatever reason, football players like to talk about what they eat. So let's talk for you. I know we're several months from the start of the season, but do you have a game day meal that you have to have that's part of your routine?
Not necessarily. I'm more of a smoothie person. I will eat pasta, more of a seafood in favorite, but not really on game day. Just more so, smoothies and try to eat a lot of fruits.
You want to keep your stomach clear so you're not barfing out there on game. I know some guys want to eat like giant steaks and.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I've heard Jerry Rice say before that he won't eat before Super Bowls. I guess it keeps his mind clear on what he's supposed to be doing. I kind of just went off of that a little bit, but I'd have to have something on my stomach, so that's why I chose smoothies.
Well, if you're going to take advice from anybody, Jerry Rice is a good one, right? We're talking about one of the best ever, maybe the best ever. Okay, can you cook? Do you cook anything on your own?
Yes, I can cook as of recently, yes.
As of recently?
As of recently.
What does that mean? Did you take lessons or did you have to learn?
I had to learn. I plan on being able to cook for my two sons, so I've had to learn how to cook recently in years. So I probably would say I just learned how to cook maybe 3 weeks ago.
How old? Oh, is that right?
Maybe 3 weeks ago.
How old are your sons?
2 and 4.
Okay.
My youngest is Wolf, and my oldest is Luca.
Oh, cool. Wolf, that's a cool name.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the story behind that?
I felt I actually got the name him, and I felt like it was just a point of time that I'm a big animal person, and wolves are very resilient and very strong, and they stay in a pack together, especially the alpha who leads. So I kind of just took it from that. That
is cool. That's a good name. So what do you cook a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old?
I do a lot of pasta. Yeah. I try to look up a lot of things that I can make as meals for them. If I'm not doing something that I learned from my mother or father, I'm usually just looking something up that I can make.
Yeah, good for you. When my kids were young, it was Kraft dinner or anything I could put on a pan and set at 350. That was about it. They still joke about that. Okay, did you have you mentioned Jerry Rice, but did you have a favorite athlete growing up or a favorite team that you followed religiously?
I probably would say now the Las Vegas Raiders, but I grew up watching them a lot. My dad was a huge Raiders fan, so I probably wouldn't say athlete. I probably didn't grow up having a favorite athlete. I think if I had to and he doesn't play football, I probably would say Michael Jordan. My dad liked him a lot, so the Las Vegas Raiders and Michael Jordan are probably the biggest influences on where I feel.
Yeah, so was your dad like an Oakland Raiders fan before?
Yeah, he was an Oakland Raiders fan, and he had to transition to being a Las Vegas Raiders fan. I think that, he's a huge Oakland Raiders fan, and especially growing up during a time where their colors and the theme of them were big. So I feel like, yeah, that was something that, I kind of got from him.
Yeah. Did you, what's the coolest place or that you've traveled to, or the coolest thing you've done that's maybe outside of football? Have you gone on any wild vacations, or have you been anything, if you, to list your bucket list that's already done, what's the coolest thing you've done so far?
I would probably say the coolest thing is I went to Malibu, California, and stayed in a really, really nice place out there. But the view was incredible, and I was out there with my wife, so that was an extremely, extremely good experience.
They're getting crushed now, right? The wildfires.
Yeah, no, very unfortunate. Especially I stay out there in the off season, so that is definitely something that I've been keeping my eye on.
Yeah, where are you based then?
Right now, Visalia, California. Yeah, that's where I've been staying.
And how close is that to what's going on?
As of right now, I think it's maybe 2 to 3 hours away. So I think it's on the way down. So just kind of praying and still just hoping it avoids people.
Yeah, geez, that's crazy, man. When you were growing up, or even now, do you have any kind of advice that someone gave to you, or kind of one of those slogans that stick to your head that's become your motto? Like live in the moment, or anything like that? I
probably would say, and I got it from someone. It's been a while since I've heard that person exactly say it, but I've always kept in the back of my mind being able to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So I think that's kind of the way to say it. But I think more importantly, I think it's just being comfortable getting uncomfortable.
Yeah. So what, in your mind, what does that mean? Is it just put yourself in positions that you don't get?
Yeah, I would pretty much say that. Yeah, being able to put yourself in situations that like I said, you're not comfortable being in, but being able to live in the space of being uncomfortable will help you try to get things done. I probably would be my advice to a young kid that I feel that has helped me just train myself and, for me to learn and how to adapt to, pretty much, anything that I bring myself around.
Well, that could be anything, right? Not just being an athlete, it's learning how to cook for you,
right? In a way. No, exactly.
Hey, listen, before we've talked to you, you've done a media conference already, and I talked to you yesterday or the day before, and you mentioned that you're just getting into snowboarding and skiing, right?
Yes, sir.
How did that happen? Tell us a little bit about that.
Coming from Oregon and playing there, it was a lot of growth for me learning, coming from Memphis, where I'm from, a lot of outdoorsy things, and I feel like that's kind of something as far as nature, whether that was, learning how to fish. I think that it helped me realize there were more, things on this planet and on this earth, that you're able to, enjoy your time with doing. And I feel like that's something that, it brings me joy to, not only to do it, but, to continue to, fulfill that, enjoyment for myself.
Yeah. Do you fish now then?
Not as much as I would like to. I think that I haven't been fishing probably in maybe like 2 years. So I think now it's just something I want to get back to doing.
Well, there's guys on this team that'll help you out with that, and that's real close. So that's cool. Are you binge watching, or what's your thing that you're going through right now? What show are you into?
I binge watch a couple shows. I've been binge watching the show Power and its spinoff Ghost. I guess since Power came out, so I watch that usually, every year. So I don't plan on stopping. The biggest one for me right now is The Lincoln Lawyer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love Mickey Holiday. I wish I knew the actor's actual name, but yeah, just the character, and I love the show. Yeah,
right on. Do you have a favorite movie of all time?
I would go with Rush Hour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big movie person of anything, so it's kind of hard for me to choose. But that was one of my mother's favorite movies growing up. So I think it's just stuck with me. So I absolutely love Rush Hour, Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker, the whole thing.
You're a big movie guy. Anything else? Give me a couple other guys that are actors that you like. If they're in a movie, I'm gonna go watch it.
I'm absolutely a Denzel Washington fan. Yeah, no matter the Gladiator 2. I'm pretty sure I've already watched it 10 times.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I absolutely love that one. A big Leonardo DiCaprio fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, as big as I'm a fan of him, I have not watched Titanic, and I feel like that's a problem for probably anybody who thinks that I'm a Leonardo DiCaprio fan. But
Yeah, you're not missing much. In my opinion, not missing much. That's one thing you have to watch with your wife. It is, really. It's not, there's no car chases. It's no machine guns.
you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
I probably, other than that, I probably would say, as of recently, I've noticed I'm a big Dwayne Johnson fan. The Rock, I'm a big. I watch all his movies, like you said, and that's probably why I brought it up. I'm an action fiend, so I know most of the things he's in is gonna be action filled, or I just like him as an actor in itself.
Denzel is unbelievable in Gladiator 2.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. He had me on the edge of my seat the whole movie.
My favorite Denzel would probably be Training Day.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely that's definitely at the top, especially for me and my father. I think it's hard not to choose Training Day as probably having my favorite movie because of Denzel. But I feel like he's a lot of things, and I feel like the storyline, not just reflection just in my life, but I think that just seeing everything he had to go through that day, it just put into perspective, kind of why he's my favorite actor and just how he exemplified getting into character and being Alonzo.
Yeah, he's amazing. Okay, let's get to the second chunk of this, Josh, the road traveled. So this is where we kind of look back and figure out how you got from Memphis, Tennessee to Winnipeg. So maybe tell us a little bit about growing up in Memphis. What are your most favorite childhood memories?
I would probably say just being around family, growing up, during holidays, being able to spend time, closely with family. And I think that's something that I've always, took with me, being around my grandparents, cousins, uncles. I feel like that I've absolutely, loved the food that Memphis brings. I'm a big Elvis fan, huge Elvis fan. Yeah, I think that, he's probably important to everybody that's in Memphis. So I'm a big Elvis fan. I feel like growing up on just football and basketball, it was huge for me while I was growing up in Memphis. So being able to, just experience the different people I came across and being able to, be in an environment where it wasn't always the easiest to grow up, but being able to, like I said, to adapt. And I think that was huge for me, being able to grow up and, stay in Memphis.
I imagine you've been to Graceland. Have you been to Graceland?
Yeah, I've been to Graceland a couple times.
I've never been. How would you describe it? Is it as crazy as they say, like all the extravagant?
I would say it's definitely a one in a lifetime experience. It has changed over time.
Oh, yeah?
It has changed over time. I think his daughter still owns the property, but yeah, if you go and see it, I think it's more surreal to just be in the place that he was and that he walked around in.
Yeah. You mentioned your dad a couple times. Are they your folks, or who's the biggest influence on your life that when you were growing up?
I probably would say just both of my parents.
Yeah.
I think my dad had a lot to do with my sports aspect. I feel like, my mom was more so the one to guide me as far as like building my character and, helping me, become also the man who I am. And I just think that, they were the biggest, inspirations in my life. And I felt like they were very, very good parents.
Right on. So I got to look this up. I got to put my glasses on for this. So in 2015, it says here you were named the Tennessee Titans Mr. Football of the Year, back of the year. But this is the stuff that gets, I got to run this by you. So it says in your senior season, 81 receptions for 1,484 yards and 22 touchdowns. Also, 951 yards rushing and 20 touchdowns. Is this all in 1 year?
Yes, sir. That's
what
all
the
in 1
heck?
Yeah, I haven't actually heard those stats in a while, or so it's kind of bringing back memories for me as well. But yeah, those were all in 1 year.
Did you score a touchdown every time you touched the ball, basically?
I wouldn't say that. I'm very humble, so I would definitely not say
say
that. I got the ball a lot of times, so definitely not that. That it does seem like that on paper. I think a lot of people in Memphis, I still am honored to be able to, like I said, have those stats. And a big thing, and I have to say that for my father, if I'm not mistaken, it's 40-something total on there as far as touchdowns.
42 touchdowns.
He was a big advocate on that. I had 25 taken back. So that'll give you a perspective on where I feel like my father, he does a lot. He goes to bat for me a lot. So he'd probably be mad that I didn't bring up that they were taken away.
So you could have had 67 touchdowns.
As he's concerned, yes, that's what I could have had.
That's a career in 1 year, in 13 games. That's unbelievable. Well, congratulations. I know I'm a little late with this. That was 2015.
No, you're fine.
That's
Thank
a hell of a number.
You're fine.
Holy crap. Okay. You're also a highly touted basketball player too, right? And coming out of high school. So what ultimately made you choose football over basketball?
I believe football was kind of always not the most natural thing, I would say, that came to me, but just realizing how much, I felt like, how I affected people in my community in Memphis, I think, and realizing that a lot of young kids looked up to me, playing football. So I think it was more so of a reasoning that I chose once I got to Oregon to just do football. I would say that was probably the biggest reason, as well as I think I kind of just thought that after I had conversations and got advice from a couple people who tried to do both, and I was going to be all over the place. Yeah. So I eventually just kind of made the decision that I'm just going to play football.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Oregon, so I'm looking at the list here again. So out of high school, you had offers from Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Cincinnati, and I'm sure there's more, and then you settled on Oregon. What was it about the Ducks that made you want to go there? There's a couple schools from your state too, so around your state.
Yeah, I think I got it. I got it hard from a lot of people in Tennessee and Memphis for not attending either one of those universities,
Right.
But I think that, like, I've never shied away from. I think everybody knows that Oregon has cool jerseys.
Yeah.
There you go. That's simple. As simple as that. I like the jerseys a lot, and I kind of took it from there with meeting people. But yeah, the jerseys and the flash from Oregon and being Nike, it was a draw for me. And I think since I was like in 7th grade, I wanted to go there. So I think I kind of repeated it a lot. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Well, a lot of people say the Bomber colors, the blue and the gold, and the Bomber, especially the home jersey, are the best in the league. So I think you've...
Yeah, no, I definitely agree as well.
All right. So during your time at Oregon, you had really good, three good seasons. The 2018 Red Box Bowl, you're the MVP of that game, and then afterwards you decided to turn pro, right? How did you know you were ready? What made you think instead of playing your senior season? I guess it would have been your senior season if you had stayed,
Yes,
right?
sir. I don't believe that I was necessarily ready. I think that, and I think this might be the first time I've ever said that out loud. It was the decision I made. I don't regret a lot of things, but I truly do admit that I felt like I should have stayed one more year to be with my teammates and the guys who I struggled with a lot during those times and, grew bonds with. So, like I said, I wasn't really ready to come out, but it was a decision that's helped shape me as, further progress and how I make decisions and what I want to do.
Okay. So not sometimes guys turn pro because they're ready. Sometimes guys turn pro for financial reasons. Man, the NIL stuff that's out there now, I wonder, right? I mean, you might have stayed knowing that you could have got some NIL money.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was definitely a part of why, and one of my decisions and why I needed to leave. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if NIL was going on during that time, that more than likely I probably would have stayed. Yeah. It would have been a no-brainer again.
So then the Vikings draft you in 2019. What was that experience like, hearing your name called out on draft night?
It was. I think that was. I'll probably say an experience in my life that watching, especially a lot of, young men, get drafted over the years while I was younger, and just seeing it definitely was something that, when I initially, got the call and then saw my name, I think it was unbelievable. I think I cry for the next hour or two.
Wow.
But just seeing it, I think it was amazing.
Yeah, it's like a fulfillment of a dream, right? It
Yes,
worked
sir.
so hard to get to. And then a couple years on the Vikings practice roster, that must be tough because you're that close, right? And then you're not getting a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about that.
I would say that a part of me being, with the Vikings and, on the practice roster, I think, I don't take my time for granted, and I don't ever believe, I don't really ever believe in things that's not meant for me. And at that time, I don't believe that I was as of a hard worker as I am now. And, I think that's something, in realization for me that, me being on the practice roster was a blessing, and still me being grateful. And I think that, absolutely, like I wanted to play at the time, and then that's why I said just kind of growth in me seeing it, in another perspective now, being older, that it just wasn't my time.
Yeah, but that's a good perspective to have now. It's kind of a sign of maturity that you realize now you needed that time, right?
Yes, sir. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, good for you. Okay, maybe you could tell us about how you found out about the CFL and how Edmonton got you to come up here.
Well, I found out about the CFL playing with a couple players from Memphis, but a lot of older guys who were getting their opportunities to come and try to make teams. So that's kind of when I first started hearing about the CFL. And pretty much after I left the Vikings, just like I kind of was just telling Matt, I took a year off from playing football. I had a couple workouts with NFL teams right after I got cut, and I decided to, like I said, take some time off and realizing that maybe football wasn't for me, and kind of after that point left from playing the game. I started working out again like fairly early before Edmonton ended up calling me. So it was kind of a guy's thing, and him letting me know that I need to kind of start, working back out again and getting into, football shape. And, when Edmonton called me, like I said, I had not been playing and decided not to play for over a year. So kind of when I got the opportunity from, I believe his name was Sammy, and Chris Jones ended up calling me. And that's kind of how it ended up happening before, I would say I got there like week 10, week 9, something like that. But, yeah, that's pretty much kind of how the transition had happened. And I started looking more recent when that time period started to come. I started looking at a lot of CFL ball.
Okay. Yeah. So when you're off for the year, are you working? Are you still working out, or what were you doing?
No, I wasn't working. A blessing for me to, still being able to, provide for my family and do certain things. So no, I wasn't working. I just was kind of taking time off, but trying to find out, other ways to, bring in, income.
Sure.
I think that it worked out for me.
Yeah. How did you know then that the fire still burned? What was it that got you thinking, I took my year off, but I still got to do this?
So I don't think I've ever told anybody this. I'm a big advocate for Stephon Diggs. He was a huge inspiration when I was at the Vikings. He did a lot of things for me, mentally, and I feel like he helped me. So it must have been after some time where I wasn't playing and I was just on Instagram, and I saw him catch a touchdown pass, and I had texted him, and he was just telling me how much I had inspired him, and just we kind of went back and forth. And once I watched the video again, I kind of just was like, you know what, it's not over, and it's time for me to step back into the game. So that's pretty much kind of how it happened.
That's pretty cool. I mean, how were you inspiring Stephon Diggs? Just your work?
Just from, I think after me being in Minnesota, I'm a big, like I said, like I told Mary, I'm a big guy on admiring people, and especially how they craft themselves in their work. So I feel like him seeing just me being a young guy and seeing that I can, not only learn and try to pick up from him, but, I can be there, during times that are, hard for certain players, especially when, they might not be going through, whether that's contract decisions and how they feel with the organization. I think that was more so the place I played, in his life at the time and where we fit together.
Cool. Josh, do we want to do the Duron spot here now, or do we want to take some questions, or we want to move that so later? You tell me.
We can just keep chugging along.
Okay, let's
to our next section
let's
here.
go to the next section. It would help if I could read the certain order here, right? But anyway, okay. Part 3. We'll go to why Winnipeg. I mean, I was just thinking about this. A week ago, or I'm not sure what the timing was, you know, the Edmonton Elks are saying, Dillon, we got to move on, or there's some sort of disagreement, and they let you go. And then 3 days later, you're signing in Winnipeg, and here we are 3 days later again, and you're here wearing a Bomber W. It's been a wild week, hasn't it?
You know, it's definitely been a wild week for sure, for sure. I think that, you know, and it is speaking on just my relationship with Edmonton, being able really meeting new guys that didn't bring me in. So I think, like I said, with it being a business, I wasn't too concerned with the conversation that I had with Edmonton. I just think that, you know, it was time to part ways. And I think as far as, you know, me leaving, like I wasn't too upset. There were people there as far as staff that I loved. And I think that, you know, they are always going to be with me at some point. Like, and I think that was with me just realizing that, you know, once I was officially released, like I know just trying to figure out what I was going to do, you know, a number of guys from former Winnipeg players and current hit me up after I was released, and then the process started to get rolling very, very soon. I probably would say within the next 6-7 hours of where they were hitting me up. And I think, you know, that's why I say a couple teams, but I feel like, you know, Winnipeg has stood out over a number of years because I never can get over the hump of winning. And I guess what they say, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
So I can't say and deny that I want to be a winner, and winning is one of my biggest, you know, goals. And I feel like Winnipeg's biggest, you know, draw, I've always seen a family-oriented, and I guess it's always made me, you know, want to be a part of something, like I said, bigger, you know, not only just bigger than myself, but just seeing, you know, a well-oiled machine working.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned you've done a couple of media interviews already that it sounded like you're a basketball guy. These guys put the full court press on you, right? Because you got phone calls from Zach Claros and from Brady and Willie, and you mentioned that you talked to Tony Jones, Dakota Prukop, who used to play here. What was their sales pitch to you about here?
More so the environment that I would be in, and just being able to, you know, still be myself, but just the opportunity to, you know, come somewhere and to buy in. And I think that, like I said, I spoke on that before, but just me knowing that, you know, I absolutely, like, am in love with the process of buying in to where I can, you know, that's why I say seeing 12-time Grey Cup champions, where I can try to help and add another one to that.
Yeah,
So,
you've done your homework on the number of championships. When you mentioned that you talked to Zach, maybe give us a snippet of what that conversation was like.
you know, he pretty much just reached out on, you know, on the behalf of himself and the team, and just wanted me, you know, to join, and hearing from other former players, you know, how much, you know, with my character, you know, how much it was, you know, a big decision on him reaching out and allowing, you know, trying to allow me to, you know, help be a part of something. You know, other than that, truly, you know, we kind of just, you know, talked about, you know, me coming, and I think me asking him a question, like I said kind of before, me just wanted to get his, you know, not just approval, but me wanted to know what he needs out of me. And I think that, like I said, me just wanting to buy in was more so, you know, a lot of the conversation back and forth, and that, you know, I'm here to win, and I'm going to do what you need me to do to win.
Yeah, you put up real good numbers last year. I think that's why a lot of people were surprised about what Edmonton, but that's what happens sometimes in a, excuse me, when a new regime takes over, right?
Yes,
There's
sir.
going to be a change like that. But you mentioned in your media conference that game, I guess it's a couple years ago now, where you guys had Winnipeg down and out, and Zach was out of the game, down by like 21, and Drew Brown comes in and rallies the team.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I mean, for Winnipeg fans, it stuck with us as one of the greatest comebacks. But you remember that game being on the other side.
Very differently. It was very different. Yeah, the game, especially with us at that time while being in Edmonton, it was very, very tough for us to even sniff a win. So just seeing how not just the game went from us winning to losing, I always try to learn from situations, even though you might be taking a loss or taking an L. So seeing how, like I said before, watching how Winnipeg gathered themselves, it was a big decision, and why I decided to come, and just seeing how, like I said, when the going gets tough, they didn't get down. They were still able to, pull themselves together, and I feel like that's what Grey Cup teams, that's what they do. And it stuck with me the whole time, especially, since from being there, and I think that's why it's a part of the reason why I love Winnipeg, and seeing how, you might not always, even from the beginning of the year, from last year with Winnipeg, things might not be going your way, but you can turn them around. So yeah. I think that that was big.
We talked about how that's been a whirlwind week. All this can be invigorating too, right? Energizing. And to maybe speak to that a little bit, Dillon, because you sound pretty jacked up about coming here.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely ecstatic by, just for Winnipeg showing interest, and, for it to just work out the way it did. I think, like I said, I feel like this is the place I'm meant to be, and I feel like that it should be, more than energizing for me to, to be in a place that's why I said such great players, great people around, and that's why I say with meeting you guys, I feel like I'm like I said, I'm absolutely ecstatic to just be around and to get to work. So I really can't even wait till when camp comes.
I was going to say you probably wish it was tomorrow, but then you look out the window here and we got a blizzard going on. Maybe not the best time. Okay, let's take the break here now, Josh, and this is the next segment, and it's sponsored by Duron Equipment, and we'll take some fan questions after this spot.
What's up, guys? I'm Joel Latarski.
And I'm Zach Halaris.
And we're here at the brand new Duron Bobcat of Central Manitoba.
The Bombers have partnered with Duron Equipment to bring you the best in heavy machinery and more.
Duron Equipment helps you with the heavy lifting. They provide top-tier machinery, unparalleled service, and expert solutions. They're more than just a dealership. They're your partner in every project.
No heavy lifting for us today.
Duron's got it covered. Duron Equipment, proud partners of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Okay, thanks to Duron Equipment for stepping up as a sponsor. And Dillon, you're crushing it so far on the show here. We're going to get now, because we're not live, we asked beforehand for fans to submit some questions, and Josh is going to spit out a few out here for you to answer from our loyal fan base.
Yeah, these questions come from fans on social media. Usually we have people live on the YouTube chat chiming in, but unfortunately we don't have that today, so we put out a call on Instagram or on Twitter for questions, and here we go. So the first question comes from a fan. We don't have names associated with these, so sorry. But the first question is, what are some of your personal goals for this upcoming season?
I would say personally, it would just be right now. It would just be to win. I just want to win and make sure that I show the guys who've been around and the people that's in the organization that they made the right decision, and coming and grabbing me.
Awesome. Next question is, what are you looking forward to most about being in Winnipeg? I'm not sure how much you know about the city or whatever, but is there anything you're looking forward to about being here in Winnipeg?
Honestly, I think getting around, I'm a big, like I said, I'm a big movie guy, and a big food person. So just getting around and being able to be in the community and, see and meet people, even with the Bombers fan base and, just here in general, just to learn, about the culture here.
Led the league in attendance the last 3 years.
Looking to keep going on that,
there
too.
You go, yeah.
Next question is, your stats improved during the course of the 2024 season. Is there anything specific you worked on last year to improve your on-field performance?
Yeah, I definitely would say my the shape I was in, the football shape, definitely. I feel like it was something that I wanted to, make sure I hit on a lot during the off season, And I think that, even going into this year is going to be a big one for me. And seeing, especially, like I said, I got to bring, my talent and rise to the occasion, being with such a, like I said, a prestige organization. And I think now, I'm just, like I said, from the question, I focused a lot on, staying in shape. And I think that's kind of why, especially, I feel like I did a lot better. And
next question is there one thing specifically you think you can bring to the Bombers offense? Like, is there this is the Dillon Mitchell thing that I add to this offense? Is it one thing, or is it more like a general thing?
I would say I plan on bringing, just a fiery, playmaking ability. I feel like that's, without a doubt, so many great receivers that are ready to play here. I feel like that just trying to continue to where, making those catches, or if it's returning, that making those plays that, get the crowd out their seat. And I think that's something that I plan on bringing.
And then our last question is, if there's one thing you want Bomber fans to know about you, what would it be? We've kind of already heard about the skiing things.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you want Bomber fans to know about you?
I would say right now, Dillon Mitchell is learning Spanish and Italian. My Italian isn't that great right now. Duolingo is helping me, but Spanish is something I'm doing right now. So.
Oh, that's cool. Any reason in particular for the Italian and the Spanish?
Being able to learn different languages helps me outside of with the business and with other business aspirations. So being able to speak with other people and from where their cultures helps me instead of them looking at me because I can only speak English.
Good answer. Hey, listen, those are good questions too. This is why we always do that segment, usually live, but thanks to those fans who submitted those questions on Twitter or X or whatever Elon Musk is calling it now. Thanks very much. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up now. Are we still giving away a jersey, Josh, or what are we doing?
Not this week.
Okay. Well, we'll have to have Dillon on another time to give away.
Oh, just kidding. We're
Okay.
giving it away to the people that ask questions on
Good
Twitter.
joke. We are giving away a jersey. Beautiful. Are we giving away a Dillon Mitchell jersey? We're giving away a Dillon Mitchell jersey. What number?
Number 13.
Okay, there we go. Right on. Well, listen, thanks. Excuse me. Thanks to our sponsors, Coors Light and Duron Equipment. Choked up here. It's our first show of the new year. Thanks. Special thanks to our guest, Dillon Mitchell. We should point out that tomorrow, Saturday, Dillon and Willie Jefferson will be signing autographs at the Bomber store from 10 till noon. And then I think you're going to the Jets game, you and Willie, tomorrow night
Yes,
too, right?
sir.
That's pretty cool. Sorry. Just a reminder that during the season we go live every Tuesday at 3 on the Blue Bombers YouTube page. In the off season, we're kind of sporadic with our shows. It's built around player availability and big news events. So we are planning on doing another show around free agency, which starts on February 11th. Thankfully, we've already got this guy locked up. So stay tuned for updates on that on our social media channels. And always don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that button and join us as often as you possibly can. We're trying to grow this show and grow the numbers on our YouTube page. So appreciate you joining us this week. Thanks a ton, Dillon, for joining us. That was awesome. Real good chance for us to get to meet the newest Winnipeg Blue Bomber, and we'll see you soon.